I still got two over there taking the test. They'll bring it in a minute, but we've got, I guess, work to do. All right, Cole, we have looked at two chapters. One on inclusion of income and one of exclusion. Can you give me two items that are included in income? Let's make a list here. Give me two items that are included in income.
Like salary.
Well, sure, wages and salaries. That's number one. What else?
Prizes. Like the lottery.
Lottery, we'll go for the lottery. Jonathan, give me two that we are not taxed on.
Yes.
Gifts in general. All right.
That TV isn't on.
What?
That TV isn't on.
It was on. I don't know what happened to it. I guess some of them are delayed and they kick off. Come on. Okay, Clayton. On either side, give me something. Tell me whether it's an I or an E.
On either side of what?
Inclusion, exclusion. All right, either side of that black line. Inclusion, exclusion.
Already.
All right. Now, chapter 3 is items we include in income. Chapter 4, we looked at a little bit yesterday, the class meeting. We looked at items that are excluded.
You want another one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I guess revenue.
What kind of revenue?
Sales revenue.
Sales revenue? Nah, you don't put that on tax return. You put net income on a tax return for a small business. So we'll take business income.
Is that not with wages?
No,
I guess wages like
no. Do you work anywhere? Jonathan does. Jonathan, you work where? Food City. That's wages, isn't it, Jonathan? Man, it owns Food City, has business income. All right. Can you think of some more? Jonathan, can you think of any more on either side? Alimony. All right. Alimony is included. All right. Cole, can you think of what?
certain scholarships are excluded.
All right. All right, scholarships. All right, but there's a whole list of those, is what I'm trying to get at. And now, Jonathan had a 1040 he was looking at. Jonathan, do you have that 1040 in front of you? All right, now, I'm just going to try to take it line by line. So, Clayton, listen to this 1040. All right, on that 1040, Jonathan, what was line 7?
Wait, no,
Line 8?
taxable interest.
Line 9?
Dividend.
Line 10,
Taxable refund.
I'll have to go into that later. That's a state refund. If you itemized last year and you got a state tax refund, you have to include that on your taxes this year. But that won't happen as much in the future because with the standard deduction, not as many people will be itemized. So certain refunds. The next line,
Alimony.
alimony. All right.
Business income or loss.
Well, this thing has a movement of its own. Whoa. Anyway, I won't spend all day looking for them. I don't know where they went. Wow. All right. I'm just going to get a new page. I don't know if they give me a new page or not. It won't. I don't want to open OneDrive. Wow. This thing's contrary. Okay, Jonathan, going on down. We got the business income, which was 5 or 6. What's the next one?
Capital gain loss.
Capital gains.
And other gain. IRA.
All right. Capital gains and other gains. What's the next one?
IRA.
All right. Any kind of IRAs or pensions, and then a taxable portion of your Social Security, and then what else?
Rental real estate.
All right, rents and royalties. Rents and royalties, and on down,
Farm income.
if you have farm income, and on down,
Unemployment costs.
you are taxed on unemployment cot now. And the next one,
Social security benefits.
certain parts, and the next one,
Other.
all right. Other income, if you're on jury duty and they pay you, goes there. If you win the lottery, it goes there. If you find that $10 bill and you don't know who the owner is, you're supposed to put it there. So, all right. If you got money illegal, you're supposed to put it there. Now, if I were a moonshiner, I would do a Schedule C and that'd be business income. Or if I ran a prostitution house, I'd do a Schedule C and put it as income. But now rents and royalties also on that same line is a Schedule K1 for S corporations and partnerships. So all your income somehow or another goes on the front of that 1040, but you may have to attach forms to it. All right, now that was chapter 3. Now, did we ever look at any of the solutions on chapter 3? We got the most of them, didn't we? All right, but we got most of them on 2. I don't know about 3. But chapter 4, that's where we start today. Again, I don't believe we did cash versus accrual basis. I don't believe we did real good with that. We'll get back to that. But I want you to look at 4.4. Clayton, look at page 4.4. All right, you got an e-book, Clayton? Does it give you the page numbers? One of my,
I can go straight to the day. I can just type it
well, good. And my student last night, one of my international students from Spain, little gal, she was sitting with a little gal from Serbia, and they had got the key code for Serbia, but they had got your book. And I told them I had one student, go down to the bookstore and you buy it for $208. But if you buy the just code, it's $100. But they could buy the e-book for $20. So since she had paid for Cengage, she didn't know she had it, but she had a free trial on the textbook for 2 or 3 weeks. She'd buy it for $20. So a lot of students got it for $120. All right. And those international students, they believe in saving. 4 of them have been sharing the same book. So once those 2 can get on Cengage, they don't have to share a book. The 2 guys are sharing a book. They try to cut down the expense. I don't blame them. I don't blame anybody. Not to have a book is ridiculous. After 4 weeks. So when you start college and you've enrolled and paid your tuition, you'll be working on those books. So I got a couple of students that just now got books for accounting principles. You all know you can't learn accounting principles without a book, without Cengage in this case. Now, are you all using Connected in your classes? Which one are you using in, Tom?
Econ.
Econ? They just give you a bunch of questions that you run through and do quizzes, problems, whatever. Econ's hard enough anyway, so, but I know the way Mount Missouri. Do you have Mount Missouri, or? I know he has it structured. I guess it requires a whole lot of work. And I think if you do it, you're okay. But if you get behind, you're not okay. Okay, Clayton, what I want to mention on this page, there's a page in chapter 3, just like Jonathan told me on the 1040. So that page in chapter 3, I don't know what page it's on. It doesn't matter at this point. Yeah, it's on page 3-4. But Jonathan mentioned everything there on the front of that 1040. Well, now these things do not go on the 1040. If it says excluded, it's excluded, isn't it? But now there's another part of that 1040. Come in, dear. You work your problems on the white page?
I did on the back. This was just scrap sheet to keep up with my numbers.
I don't think so.
I didn't know if you wanted to provide it. Sometimes you take scrap sheet.
Let me take this. How'd you do?
I think I did it okay. Maybe. I don't know.
When you supposed to graduate?
This May.
And you apply for graduation. You need to get that 90 hour evaluation sheet from Michelle.
Michelle. Michelle Comfort?
No, not the other Michelle, secretary. You don't know who she is?
Is she down there, like across, like whenever you first come in on the left? Kind of?
No, she's secretary.
Okay.
Do the 90 hour, whatever you're majoring in from her. Bring up your transcript and fill in that. Bring it to Karen, and she'll look at it and see if you got enough credits to graduate. Well, yeah. You need to get that done. Get your papers.
I know, but it's a $50 fee. I don't have $50 right now.
Was it $50?
It's
Graduate?
expensive. That's just for our application. What if you don't even meet the requirements and then you waste $50?
I didn't know you had to pay $50.
Yeah, you do.
Well, you can still get her, well, all them papers have ready.
Okay. I will. I've been looking into it. I got a email about it. It said you had to have like a 45 to 90 hour evaluation sheet. I guess the 45 is if you're an associate.
No, do the 50, yeah, do the 90 for a BS degree.
Well, I gotta have 90 degrees.
Yeah, okay. So get that done. Hopefully we'll this time.
Okay. Slide me some extra points. Don't tell nobody.
Okay. Well, if you did all that homework, extra bonus, you'll get extra bonus.
What's the extra bonus?
All those foundation problems, the Excel problems, any of the Excel problems.
Oh, I didn't do those.
All right.
All right.
Oh, boy. Only on test days. I didn't know they charge you application fee to graduate, but I guess maybe that pays for your cap and gown. Who knows? Helps pay for the speaker or something. All right. Now, chapter 3, everything on the front of the 1040. Chapter 4, everything you don't put on the 1040. And then on the 1040 at the bottom are adjustments. That's a separate category. When you got payout alimony or you put into an IRA. Adjustments we'll pick up later. But right now, let's pick up with page 44. Now, gifts and inheritance, we looked at that a little bit the other day. Now, I want you to go down to page 44. And Congress has excluded the value of gifts and inheritance received from gross income since the inception of the income tax in 1913. Section 102 excludes the value of property received during the life of the donor. All right. And transfers at death. All right. But anyway, this is overall stuff. But gifts, we got to look at it. It's got to have a basis. Now, if your grandpa gave you his house, you got to have the fair market value of it on the day of the gift. Or if the grandpa dies and you inherited his house, you've got to know the fair market value of it on the day he died or 6 months later. Now, how do you find out? I have had people, hey, I'm selling my grandpa's house. I inherited it 10 years ago. All right. The fair market value on the day that he died is excluded. If the fair market value were $100,000 and you sell it for $120,000, you only pay taxes on $20,000. But 10 years later, hey, I don't know the fair market value. I don't know. You'll have to go to the courthouse and get tax records. Or maybe go to a real estate agent and they could do a little research and see what houses sold for like that one at the time. But you have to establish a fair market value. So if y'all ever inherited anything, it'd be good to know the value of it right then. Get it appraised or something. I inherited my mother-in-law's house, and it became a capital asset. I put it up for rent, and I decided to sell it. Well, when I inherited it, it was worth something like $140,000. The real estate in Buchanan County has really went down. How about in this area? Do you see a lot of empty buildings and houses, or yes or no? Buchanan County's a lot. So I sold that house maybe for $100,000, $105,000. So I took a loss, and I got to deduct the loss on my taxes. Okay, but it was inherited. Now look at life insurance proceeds. Now look at example 6. Buddy is the beneficiary of a $100,000 life insurance policy on his mother's life. Upon her death, he elects to receive $13,000 per year for 10 years instead of the lump sum. He receives $10,000 per year tax-free, and he'll pay taxes on 3, which is interest income. Insurance companies will do that for you, but I'm going to tell you they come out. 7, assume the same facts, except that Buddy elects to receive the full $100,000. So none of the $100,000 is taxable. But now if he invests it and gets interest on it, it is taxable. And I told you the best way to do a life insurance. Take it out on yourself now, make somebody beneficiary, get killed in a car a week later, you win. They win, but if you're gone, you lose. Okay? They win. Always felt like the survivors for life insurance, those people win. Okay? All right, I mentioned about surrender. And if you sell a policy, if you've got a gain, you pay taxes on it. Now, the next thing on that page was public assistance payments. I don't know if it said much about that or not. It went down to notorious public assistance payments, qualified adoption expense. All right, public assistance payments. Third bullet, page 4. It don't say much about that, but what are some public assistance items? What are public assistance items? You've heard of welfare, of course, right? SSI, that's some kind of supplement. You've heard of food stamps. I guess now they're a little more discreet about food stamps. Instead of tearing them out of a book and everybody knows you're getting public assistance, they give it to you on some kind of card. And you just slide the card. Free textbooks, free lunches, free dental, Medicaid, all that is public assistance, and it's all tax-free. And some people do better on that than they would working for minimum wage, wouldn't they? Now, this is a neighbor again that got hooked on drugs. And anyhow, she took so bad on drugs, she can't go apply for food stamps. You know why? Now you have to have a blood test or a pee test to go get food stamps. So if drug shows up in your blood, you don't qualify. What do you think about that, Cole? Is that a good law? I do too. I think if you're going to be on food stamps, you shouldn't be on drugs. That's what goes with your money in the first place. Okay. All right, so that's the story on public assistance. Qualified adoption expenses. Now, I was telling you all about that the other day where my brother adopted 2 kids. And anybody ever see that old Forrest Gump movie? It's old. It came out during my time, but you'd have to watch reruns during your time. You saw it, Cole? Life is like a box of chocolates. You dip in, you never know what you get. That's the same thing with adopting kids in most cases. Now, you can take those kids and give them a good environment. Everything's okay. How about my brother's 2 kids? The son is 28 years old. He's a genius with computers, but he's lazy. He likes to sleep all day, sit up all night. And he's 28, still has to live with his, the mom that adopted. And now, how about the daughter? Like a box of chocolates, you never know what you get. And anyway, she started out her life liking girls. Then she decided she'd like boys. So she married and had a baby, so she's with her husband. But anyway, that's the 2 kids my brother adopted. They gave him a hard time. Okay. All right. Qualified adoption expenses, it's 13,000 something. Payment for personal physical sickness and injury. Now, if I take a day off up here for sick, I get normal pay. It's taxed. Okay? But there's a bigger story to that. And let's see if the book expands on it. They're not expanding. Yeah, page 8. Look at page 8, please. Page 8. All right, look at example 13. After she was denied a promotion, Jane sued her employer, claiming sex discrimination, and was awarded $5,000 to cover the medical bills she incurred because of the related emotional problem, $20,000 to punish her employer for discrimination, and $10,000 in comp for her wages. The $5,000 awarded to cover medical bills is excluded from gross income, but the other amounts, let's see, but not the amounts awarded as punitive damage or wages lost. So she's taxed on everything but the medical expenses. Jonathan, you're not engaged yet, are you? All right. Anyhow, way back in the day, if you asked a girl to marry you and you got engaged and you decided not to marry her, she could take you to court for a broken contract, sue you for breaking your contract to marry her, and she would win some damages. Okay? That was punitive damages, and she was taxed on. Didn't think women would do that, Jonathan? Yeah. That's just like people that sue McDonald's if they get burnt with hot coffee. Or they'll sue McDonald's if they eat too many of their fries and they gain weight. Okay. And there's some other things companies have been sued over, and some of them are justified. All right, now sickness, injury. I want you to look at number 17 on page 9. After a serious stroke, Ruth moved into a nursing home. She was at the nursing home for 140 days. Nursing home charges, physical fees, and other related expenses, $46,000. Under her long-term care insurance contract, she received reimbursements of $48,000. They are not includable in Ruth's gross income because the amounts are less than the allowed exclusion amount of $50,400. 140 days times 360. That's a given thing by IRS, 360. So she gained $2,000 tax-free. She paid for her room and board at a long-term facility. All right, so long-term care insurance, we talked about that the other day. Okay. Now, the next item on your list over there, well, I'm going to go on down to awards, I guess, and scholarships. So let's just go page by page now on page 4-7. Now, I told you the other day, if Obama, which he did, he won the Peace Award, Pulitzer, however you say that, Peace Prize. Anyway, he won that. Now, did he pay tax on it? No, that was up to him. Or yes, that was up to him. So look at conditions. You don't have to give any future talks. All right. And if he designated to a charity, he's okay. Scholarships and fellowships. You know what a fellowship is? Do any of you know what a fellowship is? Okay, I went to Tech one summer. I majored in marketing because I was teaching the truth education in high school. And there was a kid in marketing. Have any of y'all ever heard of DECA? Where did you hear of DECA, Jonathan?
High school.
Where did y'all have district education? West Virginia?
Oh,
Well, you were at Green. Okay, there used to be a guy there teaching district education named Bob Gilliwater. But he was long gone before you got there. Okay, so you had district education at Graham. But Bob was teaching at Graham at the time. He and I went to Tech and got certified in marketing. And of course, that was tax deductible for us. Now, your DE coordinator, as we were called one time, I would tell the employers, if you hire a DECA student, at that time, they could exclude 2/3 of their minimum wage. Okay? They, not only they could, claim the wage expense, but they got a credit for 2/3 of their wage. They got that back from IRS. So it's an incentive for retailers. So where'd you work at there in DE? But, so I got certified and I'd already taught it in a year. And, I pushed my students and I had 2 Western District vice president, didn't have president. And both of those students were student of the year for the Western District. You were in the Western District. Yeah, you were in the Western District. Did you ever go on any of the competition events?
Yeah. Went to regionals and 1 year I went to state.
I pushed mine, yeah. A lot of went to regional, a lot of went to state, got student of the year. And, 2 that got student of the year, one is a Supreme Court judge from the state of Virginia. The other one owns Ginger Jewelry Store, Roanoke and Galax and Christiansburg, and she was vice mayor of Radford. So that was 2 of my DE students I pushed. The one at Radford, Ginger, the state later made her small business person of the year, and she was on a lot of the DECA posters for a long time. So, but I pushed them. And we won in some of those competitions. But anyway, I don't mean to discriminate, but one time I was a chaperone for a lot of DECA students, all the way from Bristol, Jonesville, Powell Valley, all that part of Virginia. I don't know if I came up Forest Graham or not, but there was 2 of us DE coordinators on the bus, and our competition was in DC. Well, our students couldn't go out anywhere without a DE coordinator. And I took a bunch of students to the mall. And anyway, I made, so it was a black female student. I made some kind of comment about clothes I saw advertised in a window. I meant nothing about it, but she cried. And whatever I said bothered her so much. So I have definitely learned to watch what I say. And when we came back, she hugged me at the end of the trip and said she forgave me. Sometimes we don't know what we're doing, how it can hurt somebody else. But my comment was wrong on my part. But she taught me a lesson. So, and her dad was a preacher. All right, so I guess we were down to awards. I don't know how I got off on that. Except these students won awards or whatever, well, they had to work and their income was a credit for the employer. Now, scholarships and fellowships normally are taxable. Now, football players, their tuition, books, and fees supposed to be exempt. But how do they get out of paying taxes on the room and board? They're supposed to pay taxes on the amount of room and board. Probably because the room and board, they price it down so little that time they use their standard deduction, they don't have to pay taxes. But they're supposed to pay taxes on the part they use for room and board. All right, we looked at that tuition plan a little bit, but payments for injury and sickness, let's look at that again on page 4-8. You know, when people are in a car wreck, they go around when this neck breaks on, right? But there has been studies done that about 90% of those are realistic and 10 of them are fake. All right? I have known of people, their husband push them into the Social Security office, get them signed up for Social Security. Of course, they got to have the doctor appointment and all that. Fake. But you know, go in, once you get that Social Security, then you go deer and bear hunting, riding on a four-wheeler. A week later, I have known of people getting on Social Security to do that. Okay, y'all probably have too. All right. Social Security, that's another one. You can't win if you live a long time. I have paid in so much Social Security, I'll never live long enough to draw it out. All right. Had I had that money in hand and invested it for all these years, I'd had probably a couple $1 million, and I could have left it as an inheritance to my kids. But in Social Security, you have nothing left to leave. The only way Social Security is good for your kids, if they're under 18 at home when you have an accident or you die or you're injured. So. Clayton, do you believe in Social Security? When you work, do you believe in paying in Social Security tax? What? Could you invest that somewhere else and do just as well? Probably could, but our government officials are probably right. How many people would do that? They need to spend, like my son, he'd spend it today. He'd have nothing left for retirement. So, I have told you before, Social Security helps you to retire, but you need something else to go with it. Retirement from your company, set up your own IRA, set up your own retirement plan or whatever, and start as young as you can. It'll grow fast. There was a professor that retired here 2 years ago, 3, maybe 4. Dr. Vickers. Anybody ever hear of him? Dr. Vickers. Anybody ever hear of him? He taught marketing and so forth at the time, management. Dr. Vickers, I went to school with him at UVA-wise at East Tennessee State. He was the chairman, the dean up here when I came up here in 79. Okay. But anyway, he paid in 6% a year up here of his salary. It went into stock market. Bluefield State matched it 6%. That's 12% of his salary a year. Salaries up here are not that high either, folks. Okay, they're not as high as Virginia. Mr. Imel and I both took big cuts to be here. I did because I got 6 extra years of retirement in Virginia and so forth. But anyway, Dr. Vickers, when he retired, his stock was worth over $2 million. So now $2 million plus his Social Security is not a bad deal, is it? Okay. That's what I mean, invest as young as you can. Excuse me. Most payments for injury in a car accident, truly, folks, are non-taxable. Fringe benefits, page 10. Fringe benefits, page 10. Now, we've talked about fringe benefits, and everywhere you work has some. And I told you we have a few. We have the gym, we have parking. Sometimes we'll get a free meal, I guess, on work days or something. But little bitty fringe benefits. Or if I want Michelle to fax something for me, personal, it's okay. It's a small thing. Okay, so fringe benefits are not taxable. Now, I want to ask you all a question. This happened to me one time in the public schools. I was the chairman of the salary committee. All right. Now, at that time, we were offered, if I get something that'll draw better, let's see. I'll probably have to get one of these big fat ones, and it draws. Use a different color. All right. The school board offered to give us a $2,000 raise or pay $1,500 per year on our health insurance. All right. Just looking at that, what would you take, Clayton? Wait a minute. Let me take that back. Let's say that's $15,000 per year health insurance. Whoops. No, that's still per year. They'll pay $1,500 per year on your health insurance. Clayton, which one would you take, the health insurance or the cash?
Probably it's the cash every year. Or is it just one time, $2,000?
No, that's $2,000. If you got a $2,000 raise this year, it keeps going. But now if they pay your health insurance $1,500 this year, it also keeps going.
I'd probably take $2,000.
Take the cash. Jonathan? Cash? All right, that's what a lot of the teachers wanted to do. And anyway, out of this 2,000 cash, you pay 7.65 in Social Security. State of Virginia, you paid over 5% state tax. And most of those teachers were in a 20% federal tax bracket. Now, if you add those percents up, let's just round off. Let's round that off to 8. That's 13. That's 33. Now multiply 2,000 times 33%. What's 2,000 times 1/3?
660.
What?
660.
All right. Now, that's the taxes on that 2,000. So subtract the taxes from that 2,000, see what you have left.
1,000.
All right, now let me ask you this question again, Clayton. 1,300 what?
40.
Real money, Clayton, would you rather have 1,500 or 1,340? All right. Now, you had to take this insurance, let's say, anyway, and it's tax-free. And they give you $1,500 on health insurance, it's tax-free. So be careful. If you're ever offered fringe benefits, cafeteria plans, or whatever they throw at you, think about what tax bracket you're in. Think about your state tax, your Social Security tax, and then your federal tax. Some of these folks were in a 40% federal tax bracket. 50% of their money, 2,000, went out in taxes. That left them a clear 1,000. They could have had a clear 1,500. And I had to go around from school to school and explain this to them. We got the health insurance. All right. But now I had a lot of resistance from women teachers whose husbands were working and the husbands had health insurance where they worked, and the women teachers didn't give squat about school insurance. But I had to overcome all that. Okay. I had to cuss a couple of them out. But anyway, to get them to understand. So that's the story on fringe benefits. All right. I want you to look at page 12. All of you are under 25. What decimal do you see there? All right. Johnny, you went to work for $40,000 a year. All right. Now, they're going to give you a life insurance of 4 times your salary. How much is that? All right, I need to get a better pen. I don't know if the old green was the best or what. Maybe the old purple was the best. All right, what is 40,000 times 4? All right, his insurance is going to be 160,000 a year. RS says, hey, Jonathan, we'll let you exclude 50,000 of that. That's what RS does say, you exclude 50. So Jonathan, you've got 110 more thousand coverage, more than RS allows. So they say, Jonathan, divide that by 1,000. And how many is that? Then 110? Okay, and they say, Jonathan, look at this table at your age. You're under 25, and you find what decimal? 5 cents? That's what it costs your employer on average. So 5 cents times 110 is how much? 5 cents times 110.
5.5.
How much?
5.5.
That's $5.50. Your company will put that on your W-2, and you'll pay taxes on $5.50. That's not bad to get that kind of insurance, is it? But now, Jonathan, let's take some of these professors up here. All right, let's pick Dr. Bourne. How old do you think Dr. Bourne is? What? All right, he's getting ready to retire at 65. All right, now, what is that number at 65? What number is it? Dollar what?
27.
$1.27? Okay, now multiply 110 times $1.27. He'd have to include how much in his salary.
39.
All right, he'd have to include that much every year. So that's the way it works. You get a 50,000 free. But you know, Dr. Bourne and I don't have to worry about it. You know what kind of life insurance? Now, down to community college, my life insurance was 2 times my salary. Okay, so my life insurance was way over $100,000. I paid nothing on it. Now up here, I pay nothing on my life insurance, but all they've got up here is $10,000. $10,000 for every employee. Not much. Now you can buy more if you want, but you couldn't also. That's my way. But now my life insurance went into effect even after I quit work. So I've still got life insurance through the state of Virginia, but it reduces a fourth every year. So it gets down to a fourth. So my life insurance right now with the state of Virginia is probably about $40,000. That's as low as it can go. And they'll have to pay that to a beneficiary of mine someday. Okay, up here you only got 10. If you retire, you get nothing. Okay, so that's the story of page 4-12. All right. And we mentioned death benefits of $5,000. We mentioned that the other day. I'm not going to talk about foreign income yet. Let's go to page 20. John, do you have a credit card? Code? What do you got?
I discovered.
Lane, you got a credit card? Okay. What do you get back with Discover?
I'm not sure. Dad keeps them.
Is it your card or Dad's card?
It's mine, but he pays all.
Okay, now how about Visa? You don't forget anything back? Right now, some of them, let's see, I've got a MasterCard through Sears. That I get up to 5% back purchase.
Let's say Discover's.
Now Discovery, I got a Discovery card. Some things are 2, some are 1, some things are 5. But if you use a credit card, use one that gives you something back. And pay no fees, that's okay. But if you don't pay that credit card off, you might be paying up to 24% interest. Don't do that. At one time, excuse me, even college students, they were giving credit cards to college students like crazy. And credit was so liberal. So at one time, people got in really debt with credit cards. And some of them, they came out, I guess the government got involved, but credit cards might forgive you for debt, certain amount. If they did, you had to pay taxes on it. Okay? Now, Cole, if I use my Discovery card, I'll get back $50 once in a while. They don't pay on my bill or I just get back $50. All right, so discharge of debt, and I told you about my son. Now, when my son went through all of his bad times, and he lost his house, okay, they probably sold it for $100,000 less than what he owed on it. So they had to discharge $100,000 debt. Now, I did his taxes. Did I put that $100,000 on his taxes as other income? No. I found a clause, whereas on a house, a personal residence, a one-time forgiveness thing like that was not taxed. So I didn't turn it in, okay? But it's a shame that you can't pay for something. Or it's a shame that my son lost him. You know, they forgave my son $100,000. He'd already lost a couple $100,000 on the house. It would be a shame for him to pay 20% tax on $100,000. But they'll do it. All right, in this country, you're innocent until what? Proven guilty. With IRS, you are guilty until you prove your innocence. That's true. You are guilty. All right, they come up with fringe benefits again and tax considerations and some other exclusions. Look at page 23, please. Gain from the sale of a personal residence might be excluded. That's section 121. Annuities paid to survivors of public safety officers, military personnel. So if you were a policeman and an annuity was paid to the survivors, it's tax-free. Comeback pay. Do you all know that if you were in the Marines, Army, Air Force, now a lot of people, they'll volunteer to go. In my day, it was Vietnam. All right. In more recent days, it's been Iraq, Afghanistan. I don't know if it's Somalia or whatever. But if you're in a war zone, you don't pay taxes on your income. If you're in a war zone, you do not pay federal income tax on your military pay. Right? And that's why some Army guys, they'll volunteer to go to Iraq so they don't have to pay federal taxes. All right. Military housing is tax-free. Housing for ministers is tax-free. All right. Foster care payments is tax-free. All right. Let's say you were put in prison. You were put in prison for 5 years and you found out you were innocent and they paid you $10,000 a year. That's tax-free. But nobody wants to go to prison to get tax-free money, do you? I don't want to be in a war zone to get tax-free money either. But a lot of soldiers do it. All right, education IRAs or Roth IRAs, we'll look at that later. So there are some other tax-free incomes. Now, if you've got a 1040, let me bring up a 1040 a minute. Now, Tuesday, let's do the even problems on chapter 4. Let's plan on a test by next Thursday on chapters 2, 3, and 4. That's an open book test, we know that. But it's possible. Once I make it up, if I want to give you plenty of time on it, I may give it to you on Thursday and let you bring it back on Tuesday. That gives you 5 days. Something like that. So we'll see if I let you take it home or if you have it in class. But I wanted to bring up a 1040 on here real quick. Where'd that form go? Here it is. You know, I bring it up to forms, and we're still looking at what kind of form here, 2000 what? We're still looking at 2017. We need a 2018 form as soon as we can get it. Okay, now Jonathan went over lines 7 to 21. That's chapter 3. Chapter 4 is on here nowhere. Now, we may have to put Social Security on there and see what part we have to pay. But now, here, there's a little bit in every chapter. These are adjustments. Educator expenses is K through 12. If you're self-employed, health savings account, health savings account deduction will be expense. Self-employment health insurance deducted is penalty and alimony and IRA, tuition fees, Social Security. All these are adjustments for adjusted gross income. And we'll be looking at these in future chapters. We're not just leaving them. Okay, now in chapter 4, I want you to do a tax return problem. I want you to try problem 60 on page 31. I'm going to repeat. Problem 60 on page what? All right, problem 60 on page 31. Do that on a 1040. All right, you shouldn't have a whole lot of trouble with it. Okay, so for Tuesday, do that problem. Look at the even problem. Jonathan, I think I got those solutions put on move. Okay, I had them on, I guess, a jump drive. Then I put them on top here. I didn't think I was gonna get them to transfer over, but they did. And it's under attention tax class or something. But look at it, you'll find them every chapter. Okay, y'all have a good weekend. See you then, Tuesday.
We did that, right?